The most hyped muscle-building peptide on the internet has never been tested in a single human trial. The ones that have been tested, they barely build anything. Okay, if you've spent any time in the fitness corner of the internet, you've heard the pitch. Peptides. The thing that finally separates you from the shredded, vascular recovers overnight version of yourself. BPC 157 for your joints. TB 500 for healing. IGF-1. Follistatin, the growth hormone stack. All of it whispered like a secret the pros don't want you to know. So I did something simple. I went and read the actual science. Every human trial I could find. And what I found flips the whole thing on its head, because here's the pattern nobody tells you. The peptides with the loudest reputations, the ones with the before and afters and the influencer stacks, have the thinnest human evidence. Some have literally zero, and the handful that have been studied properly, they do build a little muscle. But they do not, in a single controlled trial, make you meaningfully stronger. Mass without strength. Hold on to that phrase. It's the whole video. Let me show you, peptide by peptide, exactly what the evidence says. And where the hype completely detaches from reality. First, let's be fair and lay out what people are actually using, because it's not random, there's a real hierarchy. At the base, you've got the growth hormone secretagogues. The classic stack everyone calls the gold standard is CJC-1295, paired with ipamorelin. Oral MK-677 is the needle-free alternative, then the recovery tier. BPC-157 and TB-500, the injury and healing stack. And then the advanced, deep-end stuff. IGF-1, Follistatin, PEG, MGF. The compounds people graduate to when the first tier stops feeling like enough, and the reported results sound amazing. Better sleep in 2 weeks. Fuller muscles and fat loss by week 8. Skin and hair by month 3. Here's the first honest thing, and this comes from the vendor sources themselves. Testimonials are not evidence. The muscle gain from peptides, even in the glowing write-ups, is modest compared to actual anabolic steroids. And a lot of these compounds are running on animal data and vibes. So, let's separate the two. Anecdote in one column, human trials in the other. Watch how far apart they are. Let's start with the strongest hand the peptide world has to play. MK-677. Ibutamoren. This one actually has good human data. A real, 2-year, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial. Nass and colleagues, 2008, in the Annals of Internal Medicine. 65 healthy older adults, 25 milligrams a day, and it worked, in the specific way it works. It restored growth hormone and IGF-1 toward youthful levels. And it increased fat-free mass. Plus 1.1 kilograms versus minus half a kilo in the placebo group. Statistically rock solid, though. A peptide-style compound that provably increases lean mass. Case closed, right? Not even close. Because the same trial measured strength and function, and there was no improvement. None. The extra mass did not translate into being able to lift more or move better. Read that sentence again. Because it is the entire thesis of this video. Wearing its best suit. MK-677's honest role isn't strength or physique. It's muscle preservation. Anti-catabolism. It helps you hold on to muscle. It doesn't build the muscle the ads are selling. And then there's the part the community really doesn't talk about. MK-677 has a genuine safety file. It worsens your glucose metabolism. Fasting blood sugar goes up. Insulin sensitivity goes down, and the FDA has flagged a significant risk of congestive heart failure in certain patients. That's not a scare quote. A clinical trial in older hip fracture patients was halted early because of a heart failure signal. The company developing it walked away, so the best evidenced muscle peptide on the market builds no strength. And its most studied risk is your heart. Keep that in frame as we go up the hype ladder. Because from here, the evidence only gets thinner. Now, the rest of that growth hormone tier. CJC-1295, ipamorelin, sermorelin, the GHRPS. These all do basically one thing. They make your own body release more growth hormone. There are actually two families here, and it's worth 30 seconds. CJC1295 and Tesamorelin are GHRH analogs. They mimic the hormone that tells your pituitary to release growth hormone. Tesamorelin and the GHRPs work a different door. The ghrelin receptor, the same system that drives hunger, different mechanism, same output, more growth hormone. And here's the thing. We already know how this story ends, because a next-generation version of this exact class, a drug called Tesamorelin, went through big, proper cancer castor trials. Thousands of patients, and it did increase lean mass and appetite. But the benefit on actual strength, hand grip, physical function, was weak or absent. Same pattern. Again, an entire drug class tested at scale, and the finding is mass without strength. This isn't one weird study. It's the signature of the whole category. And the growth hormone you're raising has a cost. Chronically elevated growth hormone pushes you toward insulin resistance, fluid retention, carpal tunnel type symptoms. The FDA specifically flagged CJC1295 for increased heart rate and cardiac events. None of these are approved for building muscle. All of them are banned in tested sport. You're taking on real physiology to chase a result the best evidence says doesn't fully arrive. So let's actually sit with the strangest part of all this. How do you gain muscle mass and not gain strength? It sounds like it breaks physics. It doesn't. Here's the honest read. A lot of what growth hormone and these secretagogues do is increase fluid and non-contractile tissue. Your muscle can get bigger and hold more water without the actual force-producing machinery improving in step. You look fuller. The scale and the tape measure move. The barbell doesn't. That's why every controlled dataset lands in the same place. Lean mass, up. Strength and function, flat. And it's why, if your goal is actually performing, lifting more, jumping higher, being more capable, the evidence for these peptides is essentially a flat line. Now hold that. Because we're about to leave the land of real data entirely, BPC157, TB500. If peptides have a face on the internet, it's these two. The recovery stack, the heal anything, fix your tendon, come back from anything duo. Here's what the human evidence actually is. For BPC157, 0 randomized controlled trials in humans. 0. Every human report that exists lacks a placebo control. Total published human exposure? Fewer than about 30 people, across roughly 3 tiny pilot studies. The largest had 16 participants, plus 1 small case series where 7 of 12 people said they felt better. That is the entire human evidence base for the most popular peptide on the internet. There is no established safe dose, because the studies to establish one were never done. And TB500 has even less than that. So when someone tells you the BPC157 and TB500 stack heals injuries, understand what that claim is standing on. It's mechanistically plausible. In rats, it has never been demonstrated in a proper human trial. Not once, and there are 2 things that should genuinely give you pause. First, BPC157's main proposed mechanism is that it grows new blood vessels. It's pro-angiogenic. That's how it might help tissue heal. But new blood vessels are also how tumors feed themselves. The long-term cancer safety of a compound that stimulates blood vessel growth in people is simply unknown. Not proven dangerous. Not proven safe. Unmeasured. Say that word to yourself the next time someone calls it basically risk-free. Second, and this is almost funny, the TB500 you can buy isn't even the molecule that got studied. The research was on a full protein called thymosin beta-4. What's sold online is a small fragment of it. Different compound. You're not even buying the thing the animal data was about. Now, here's the one that actually could rewrite muscle building. And the reason it hasn't will tell you everything about this whole field. Follistatin. And the broader idea of myostatin inhibition. Your body has a built-in brake on muscle growth. Proteins called myostatin, activin, GDF11. Follistatin-type compounds don't push the growth pedal like growth hormone does. They cut the brake line. And, mechanistically, That's the most powerful lever we know of. The lab data is genuinely stunning. A follistatin-based compound called AC083, injected directly into a muscle in mice, increased that muscle's weight by around 75%. And unlike the growth hormone story, this one produced real force gains. Tetanic force up around 40%. Actual strength, not just size. So where is it? Why isn't every gym rat on it? Because here's how the human story went. It only ever got tested for disease. Muscle-wasting conditions like Charcot-Marie tooth, and a form of muscular dystrophy. Never for enhancement. Never for healthy athletes. And in those human trials, it failed. The phase 2 studies didn't deliver, and development was discontinued. Sit with what that means. The single most promising mechanism for building real, functional muscle looked incredible in a mouse, and fell apart the moment it met a human body in a controlled trial. That gap between the mouse and the human is the entire reason to be skeptical of every peptide still riding on animal data. Because follistatin is what the top of that hype pile actually looks like when you finally test it properly. Let me give you the two bookends of the evidence spectrum, because they're clarifying. On one end, Tesamorelin. This is the only compound in this entire video that's actually FDA approved. So that's something, right? Well, read the label. It's approved for one thing: fat redistribution in people with HIV. Not bodybuilding. Not performance. Not anti-aging. And the best data, a 2026 meta-analysis pooling 5 trials, is honest about what it does. It reduces visceral fat, about 28 square centimeters, and it nudges lean body mass up about 1.5 kilos. But strength outcomes? Not even reported. The label literally says it's not for weight loss. It's the most legitimate peptide here, and it still isn't the thing people want it to be. On the other end, AOD-9604, marketed as a fat loss miracle, often stacked with semaglutide now. Its actual history? It went through phase 2 trials for weight loss and failed to show meaningful results. Development was terminated. And there's no quality trial showing the semaglutide and AOD combo beats plain semaglutide. You're paying extra for a compound that already flunked its audition. Approved, but not for this on one end. Failed and abandoned on the other. And almost everything people actually buy lives in the murky middle, where the trials just never got run. And now the part that actually matters for your body, whatever you decide. Everything we've talked about, you can't get from a pharmacy for these uses, so it comes from the grey market. Vials, labeled research chemical, not for human consumption, which everyone quietly injects anyway. Here's what independent testing keeps finding in those vials. Purity ranging from 5% to 75%. The majority mislabeled. A different substance, or no active ingredient at all. One lab reports about a third of samples fail basic identity or purity checks. Products contaminated with arsenic and lead at up to 10 times the injectable limit. Bacterial byproducts that can cause sepsis, a physician told the Wall Street Journal about a patient with heavy metal poisoning, and a young patient who developed insulin resistance, both traced to grey market peptides. So even in the best case, even if a peptide did do what people claim, you are injecting an unregulated liquid of unknown contents into your body. The uncertainty isn't just, will it work? It's, what is even in this vial? And if you compete in anything drug tested, these are almost all banned. Year-round. BPC-157, the growth hormone secretagogues, IGF-1, TB500 follistatin, testing positive doesn't require them to catch the drug in your blood. Several have no commercial test, so bans run on evidence alone. It is genuinely not worth your eligibility. So, after all of it, where does this actually land? Here's the honest version. The one you won't get from someone selling you a vial. The best evidenced muscle peptides build a modest amount of mass, and no proven strength. The most hyped ones, BPC-157, TB500, have essentially no human evidence at all. The most powerful idea, myostatin inhibition, looks incredible in a mouse, and has failed every time it's faced a human trial. Only one compound here is FDA approved, And it's approved for something you're not trying to do. And every bit of it, you're sourcing from a market where a third of the product isn't what the label says. That's not me telling you what to do with your body. That's just the evidence, laid flat, with the hype peeled off. What actually builds muscle and strength? Reliably, measurably, in humans, for free, is still the boring stuff. Progressive training, enough protein, enough sleep. The peptides are chasing a shortcut the data doesn't support yet. At a risk the marketing never mentions. If this changed how you think about even one of these, do me a favor and subscribe. Because the whole point of this channel is the honest version. The one with the receipts. Drop a comment. Which peptide were you told was a game changer? And the usual. None of this is medical advice. Talk to an actual doctor before you put anything in your body.